Hey, sixth graders, we are going to talk about rocks layers today, and we are going to be able to interpret different layers of rocks and also be able to describe them. So we know through the process of compaction and cementing that we can get some sedimentary rocks. Rock layers is actually also known as strata, and they are horizontal, so direct sections of the Earth that have distinctive compositions, so what they're made up of, characteristics, and ages. And we're really going to focus on this ages piece today. So the layers form over time and through different geological processes like sedimentation, deposition, compaction, and each rock layer has its own kind of history and its own story. So we can look at these layers of rocks and we can look at these rock formations in order to better understand Earth's history and different geological processes. So through the process of superposition, it helps us understand, it helps geologists understand the relative ages, so how old a rock layer is. We know that the youngest rocks are at the top and the oldest rocks are found at the bottom of different rock formations. And the sediments are deposited horizontally over time, adding new layers to the existing ones. And we can see that each layer has its own set of characteristics and compositions that makes it its own layer. So just like in our simulation, we may have had lots of layers of sedimentary rock, but each one was formed at a different time, so it was its own distinctive layer. So superposition tells us that over time, new layers are deposited onto the previous one, meaning that they're formed on top of the previous one. And our landforms are seen as vertical when the oldest rocks are formed with the most recent sedimentary events, so the sedimentation that comes and creates a new event, and the oldest rocks become the base, and they are the oldest rocks. So if we think about this pile of books here, right, as I stack up my pile of books, the oldest ones end up on the bottom, and my newest ones end up on the top, and the books are horizontal, right, they're laying flat horizontally, but my stack is getting vertical, it's getting higher, taller vertically. We also have a geological principle of cross-cutting, which is telling us that sometimes newer rocks can form across and they can kind of interrupt the existing layers of rocks that are already there, so our younger and older rocks. And they're going to be younger because they're new, even though they're cutting across, and they might be by the oldest ones. Here is an example of some cross-cutting in real life. So we can see that we have our sedimentary rocks here, and then we have our cross-cutting across here of a newer rock that was formed across the older rocks. And if we just take a look at this simulation here, if it loads. Okay, as our sedimentary rock is coming in, and our sediment is coming in, and we're getting sedimentary rocks, we can add some of and we're going to melt some of that mantle rock, and it's going to rise up into the surface, and that is an example of cross-cutting. Our Grand Canyon is a great example of sedimentary rocks. It is lots of layers of sedimentary rocks, and it tells us about Earth's history and what happened in that area through different geological processes. We are going to use this, and we're going to use the principle of superposition to learn more about how younger rocks are at the top and the oldest rocks are at the bottom. In your assignment today, you're going to put these rock types in order. So you're just going to put these in order and kind of read about them and learn more about them. And then when you're done with that, you're going to get a paper that looks like this, and you are going to fill in these notes here in your own words, and then you're going to use this in order to color this and kind of better understand these layers of rocks. I want you to pay particular attention to how old some of these rocks are, and notice that as we start at the top, we have younger rocks, and then we get some older rocks. I hope that you enjoy this activity, you learn a little bit more about rocks, and you have some fun. Remember, today is a great day to learn. Happy learning!